Throughout history, archaeologists have uncovered objects that seem impossible for their time. These out-of-place artifacts challenge everything we thought we knew about the past. In this video, we'll explore some of the most mysterious finds ever discovered. Imagine holding in your hands a book that no one on Earth can read, a manuscript filled with strange plants that don't exist, diagrams of unknown stars, and a language no one has ever heard. This isn't the plot of a mystery novel. This is real, and it has baffled the world for over 600 years. Discovered in 1912 by a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich, this 240-page codex is believed to date back to the early 1400s. But that's where the facts stop and the mystery begins. Its pages are filled with hundreds of bizarre illustrations, impossible plants, strange bathing women in interconnected pools, and astronomical charts that seem to map an unknown sky. Even more puzzling is the text. It's written in a unique script with an unknown alphabet. Cryptographers, linguists, and even code breakers from World War II have tried to decipher it. Every known technique, from pattern analysis to AI algorithms, has failed. Some think it's an elaborate medieval hoax. Others believe it's a lost language, or even evidence of knowledge far ahead of its time. One theory claims it could be a medical or alchemical manual from a forgotten culture. Another, more speculative idea is that the manuscript's knowledge isn't from this world at all. Its pages have become a blank canvas for the imagination, from secret societies to alien visitors. And yet, despite centuries of study, it still refuses to give up its secrets. So what do you think? Is the Voynich manuscript a brilliant hoax, a forgotten science, or something far stranger? Let us know your theory in the comments below. What if everything you know about ancient history is wrong? What if 2,000 years ago people already discovered a power we think is modern electricity? In 1938, in the heart of Baghdad, archaeologists were cataloging objects from an ancient Parthian site when they stumbled upon something that made no sense. A small clay jar, barely 6 inches tall, sealed with bitumen. Inside was a copper cylinder and, at its core, an iron rod. At first it looked like a simple container, but its design was too precise to be accidental. When modern researchers examined it, an astonishing possibility emerged. By pouring a simple acidic liquid vinegar or grape juice inside the jar, the device could generate a measurable electric current. In other words, this humble artifact could function as a battery. 2,000 years before the invention of the modern battery. Why would an ancient civilization need electricity? There were no light bulbs, no wires, no machines, at least none we have found. Some scientists think it may have been used for electroplating, a process of coating gold and silver onto ornaments. Others speculate it was part of religious or healing rituals, delivering a mild shock as a mystical experience. And some go even further, suggesting it is evidence of lost technology knowledge handed down from a forgotten culture, or perhaps visitors from beyond our world. Skeptics argue that the battery interpretation is simply a modern fantasy projected onto a mysterious vessel. They point out that we lack proof of any ancient electrical devices to go with it. Maybe it was just a storage jar for sacred scrolls, with metal parts used for symbolic reasons. Yet the mystery refuses to die. For over 80 years, the so-called Baghdad battery has been displayed in a museum, silent but powerful, a riddle encased in clay and copper. Modern experiments have shown that replicas can indeed produce a small but real current. But no one can explain what the original was truly used for. Is it a coincidence, a strange artifact mistaken for something it's not? Or is it a clue that the past was far stranger and far more advanced than we've ever imagined? In the summer of 1930, a couple walking near the small town of London, Texas, stumbled upon something that should not exist. Embedded in a solid block of stone, they discovered the head of a hammer, its handle still partially intact, as if frozen in time. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than an ordinary carpenter's tool. But when geologists examined the stone surrounding it, the mystery deepened. The rock was not thousands of years old, it was estimated to be over 100 million years old, from a time when dinosaurs still roamed the earth. How could a man-made hammer end up inside such ancient stone? The hammer itself seemed just as puzzling. Its metal head was composed of iron, so pure and resistant to rust that it baffled modern scientists. Unlike most iron, it contained almost no impurities. Some even suggested the technique used to forge it was beyond the capabilities of ancient civilizations. The handle, though partially fossilized, still showed traces of wood fibers. Skeptics argue that the hammer was simply an old tool that became encased in a concretion of minerals over time, making it appear older than it truly was. But others see something far more extraordinary, a possible relic of a lost civilization, or even a hint that visitors from beyond our world once walked the earth. For nearly a century, the London hammer has remained one of the strangest artifacts ever found. It is displayed today in a small private museum, still locked in its stone tomb, a silent riddle challenging everything we think we know about history. Was it the work of forgotten humans who mastered metallurgy long before recorded time? Or could it truly be evidence of technology not from this planet? The answers remain hidden in the stone, leaving us with one undeniable truth. The London hammer is a tool out of time. A clay disc covered in mysterious symbols that no one has ever been able to fully read. Some say it's a prayer, others believe it's a coded message. But what if this artifact isn't from our world at all? What if it's the only surviving clue to a forgotten civilization, or even something far stranger? Today we dive into one of archaeology's most puzzling mysteries, the Phaistos disc. In 1908, on the island of Crete, an Italian archaeologist uncovered a small clay disc buried in the ruins of the ancient city of Phaistos. At first glance, it looked simple, but as soon as experts studied it, they realized this was something unlike anything else ever found. On both sides of the disc are 241 strange symbols, pressed into the clay in a spiral pattern. Warriors, animals, plants, tools, even what looks like futuristic technology. Symbols that have never appeared anywhere else in the ancient world. What makes the disc so mysterious is that it seems completely alone. No other artifacts with the same writing have ever been discovered. It's as if this was a one-of-a-kind message, created in isolation or left behind by someone who didn't belong to that time or place. Some scholars claim it's a hymn, others think it's a calendar, a map, or perhaps even an alien record. One theory suggests the disc could be an early form of movable type printing created thousands of years before Gutenberg's printing press. If true, that would completely rewrite human history. Another theory is that the symbols aren't writing at all, but a kind of meant to be solved only by those who had the key. And of course, there are those who believe the Phaistos disc is proof of an advanced lost civilization. Like Atlantis, a piece of evidence that somehow survived when everything else was erased. More than 100 years after its discovery, the Phaistos disc still refuses to give up its secrets. Is it a simple prayer, a forgotten language, or a message from beyond our history? What do you think this mysterious disc really is? Deep within the dense jungles of Central America lies one of the most mysterious discoveries of the modern age, the crystal skull. First brought to the world's attention in the late 19th century, this enigmatic object has challenged everything we thought we knew about ancient civilizations. Carved from a single, flawless piece of quartz, the skull is both hauntingly beautiful and scientifically baffling. Legends suggest it was created by the ancient Maya, yet the level of precision in its craftsmanship raises questions that go far beyond ordinary archaeology. At first glance, it resembles a human skull, complete with smooth contours, hollowed eye sockets, and a jawline carved with striking accuracy. But the more closely you look, the stranger it becomes. Quartz is an incredibly hard material, difficult to shape even with today's diamond-tipped tools. And yet whoever made this skull did so with such precision that even modern engineers admit they would struggle to replicate it. No chisel marks, no scratches, no signs of primitive carving techniques can be found. Instead, the surface is polished to perfection, as if created by a technology far beyond its supposed time. So how old is it? Some researchers argue that the skull is at least hundreds of years old, possibly much more. The Maya, who flourished more than 1,000 years ago, left behind incredible pyramids, advanced astronomical knowledge, and complex calendars. But nowhere in their known history is there evidence of the ability to carve crystal at this level. Could it be that the skull was passed down from an even earlier unknown civilization? Or, as some daring theorists suggest, could it be an object not of this earth at all? And scientists have studied the skull using every method available. Microscopes reveal surfaces without tool marks, as though the crystal had been molded rather than carved. Laser scans highlight internal flaws that refract light into dazzling rainbows, almost as if intentionally designed. X-rays show no fractures or cracks, even though carving quartz should have risked shattering the entire piece. The mystery deepens with each test, and still no one can explain how it was made with the tools available at the time. But the crystal skull is not only a technological puzzle, it is also surrounded by myth and legend. Local traditions tell of skulls that hold great powers, objects that can heal sickness, grant visions of the future, or even connect their holder to the spirit world. Some stories speak of 13 crystal skulls scattered across the earth, each carrying ancient knowledge, waiting to be reunited when humanity is ready. Skeptics dismiss these tales as fantasy, yet for many the legends only add to the artifact's allure. Even today, the skull continues to inspire debate and wonder. Is it a relic of a lost civilization whose knowledge has been forgotten? A ceremonial object created by the Maya to honor their gods? Or could it be something even stranger, a relic from another world, or perhaps from a distant future somehow placed in our past? Each theory opens the door to more questions, and none provide definitive answers. What we do know is this: the crystal skull remains one of the most baffling artifacts ever discovered. Its origin, purpose, and method of creation are mysteries that science has yet to solve. And perhaps they are mysteries that we are not meant to solve. At least not yet. As long as the skull exists, it will continue to remind us that history is far more complex and far more mysterious than we have ever imagined. Imagine wearing jewelry, forged from a piece of a fallen star. This is not science fiction. Archaeologists in Spain have just uncovered a 3,000-year-old treasure crafted from metal that came from outer space. The discovery is part of the legendary treasure of Villena, one of Europe's greatest Bronze Age hoards. Golden cups, ornate rings, mysterious ornaments, and hidden among them, two objects unlike anything else: a delicate bracelet and a small decorative half-sphere that would change what we thought we knew about ancient technology. At first glance, they looked like finely worked bronze. But under the microscope, the truth emerged. Scientists detected unusually high levels of nickel, a chemical fingerprint, of meteoritic iron. This metal didn't come from the Earth's crust. It was forged in the heart of an exploding star, traveled through space for millions of years, and eventually slammed into our planet as a meteorite. And somehow, 3,000 years ago, people collected fragments of that meteorite and turned them into jewelry. Here's the strange part. This happened long before the Iron Age reached the Iberian Peninsula. Most people at the time had never even seen iron. It was rarer than gold. So how did they work with this alien metal? Meteoritic iron is extremely hard. Without advanced smelting, shaping it would have been an incredible challenge, a skill reserved for the most talented, and perhaps the most privileged artisans. This wasn't everyday jewelry. This was a symbol of cosmic power. Across history, many cultures believed meteorites were gifts from the gods, messages from the heavens. The ancient Egyptians forged King Tutankhamun's dagger from meteorite iron. In China, falling stars were seen as omens of change. Perhaps the people of Villena saw this metal as sacred, a bridge between the mortal world, Vaal, and the divine. Wearing it may have meant you carried the strength of the stars themselves. This discovery doesn't just add a chapter to history, it rewrites it. It tells us that 3,000 years ago, humans weren't just surviving. They were innovating, experimenting, and finding beauty in the rarest materials the universe could offer. And maybe, just maybe, as it reminds us that even in the distant past, people looked up at the night sky and wondered. Somewhere in the dense jungles of Colombia, ancient gold artifacts were found, each no larger than a matchbox. At first they seemed ordinary, animal figurines perhaps, but when archaeologists looked closer, they were stunned. These objects had delta-shaped wings, vertical stabilizers, cockpit-like bumps features that had no place in a world that didn't yet know flight. They became known as the Quimbaya artifacts, named after the civilization that crafted them over 1,000 years ago. Most historians insisted they were just birds or insects, but even those skeptics couldn't ignore how aerodynamically accurate these shapes were. In 1990, two German engineers decided to test a theory. What if this wasn't just a toy, but a flying machine? They built a scaled-up model of the artifact, equipped it with a tiny engine, and launched it. It flew. Not only did it fly, it was stable, maneuverable, and performed better than some modern drones. So how did an ancient culture with no written language or advanced tools manage to design something that matches today's flight dynamics? Could it be that the Quimbaya people saw something or someone in the sky? Some theories suggest ancient contact with advanced civilizations, maybe even visitors from beyond Earth. Others think we're underestimating how much ancient people really knew about the world and about nature's hidden laws. One thing's for sure, this isn't just gold. It's a mystery that challenges what we think we know about history and about human imagination. Which of these artifacts surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible mysteries from history.